Hello, and welcome to another video. Today, I'm excited to show you what I played in a Lorwyn Eclipsed Regional Championship Qualifier. In case you are not familiar, these are tournaments played at the competitive rules enforcement level, and as the name suggests, you are competing for an invitation to a regional championship. I really enjoy playing in these whenever they come up in a limited format, and for this RCQ, I made the top 4 and placed 3rd overall in the tournament. So, unfortunately, did not earn an invite to the regional championship, but I'm still really happy with how I did. It's definitely one of the best finishes I've ever had in an RCQ. And for me, really solidified that I am thoroughly enjoying Lorwyn Eclipsed. So yeah, I'd love to show you the cards that I opened for the sealed deck portion of the tournament, and talk about the deck that I built from it. And because I top-aided, I also have a draft deck that we can look at as well. So, let's get right into it. First, we can look at the rares that I opened, and then from there, we can talk about the deck building process. Alright, so I opened 6 rares total, one of which was Blood Crypt, which doesn't really count. It is on color for some of my other rares, which is nice, but it's not really what you want to see. And obviously you can see which ones I played. I do think it is interesting how this pool has 2 separate decks in it, just judging by the rares alone. So for me at this point, I was kind of thinking that I was either going to be in Rakdos Goblins or Azorius Merfolk. So from here, the first thing I wanted to try out was the Merfolk. I thought these were going to be a bit higher quality than the Black-Red, and in the sealed deck events that I had done to prepare for this tournament, I was feeling most confident and most experienced with white, and blue and green as well, with red and black much less so. So I definitely wanted to explore the Merfolk deck first, and then come back and try the Rakdos one, and see how it compared. So this was the first deck that I built, and what I came back to officially register for the tournament. My One non-basic land was Evolving Wilds. Don't really need to talk about this too much. And I guess I'll start with the non-creature spells, because these are what I really think made the deck happen. So, when I was looking through all of the colors before building, one of the things that really attracted me to white was the abundance of removal. And I think it became even better when it was paired with blue. 'Cause you'll see, but I actually think the creatures in here are extremely mediocre. And the strength from this deck really came from all of its interaction. So, even if my creatures weren't that good, as long as I could protect my creatures and manage my opponent's board, then that's really what sealed the deal for this deck and allowed me to get through. I mean, this one was just purely protection for my creatures. It might blank a removal spell from an opponent or allow one of my creatures to survive combat more profitably. But aside from that, every single one of these gets a creature off the battlefield or renders it unable to engage in combat. So I was really happy with all of this. I think Sig was the overall MVP of the day, mostly because he allowed me to draw so many extra cards, so I could draw into these answers and just have way more resources than my opponents. So yeah, these were my spells, but let's look at the rest of the creatures. Alright, so these are the creatures. Clearly, not all of them are merfolk. Definitely some amount of filler in here, but I kind of made it work. Whether it was giving a little boost to my creature's power, or removing some power from my opponent's creatures, some life gain, or some interaction. Again, I think Sig was pretty much the MVP of the day. He paired really nicely with the Tributary Vaulter. Being unblockable himself made him a great target for the extra 2 power. Like I mentioned earlier, he could draw cards on his blue side. Or gives a creature protection from each color on his white side. So either making sure that he has protection himself freeing up a creature from an enchantment, or just making sure that your largest creature can get through and start dealing damage. Yeah, he was great. So yeah, this was the sealed deck that I played in the Swiss rounds. There were 5 rounds of Swiss before the top 8. I was able to win rounds 1 and 2, both 2-0. Round 3, I dropped 1 game, but won the round at 2-1. So after round 3, I was 3-0 and was able to just double draw into the top 8 where we did a draft. So that was the end of the road for this deck. Next, we can take a look at the alternate red-black deck that I had kind of been thinking about. And then we can finish out by looking at the draft deck. So, once again, these are the rares that I was looking at. I wasn't sure about Collective Inferno, but thought it might work if we had enough goblins. For removal, I thought these all looked pretty decent. And then for the creatures, maybe try and get these ones in here as well. So yeah, what was kind of drawing me to this is that the creatures seemed to be quite a bit larger than the merfolk deck that I was looking at. And one of my concerns was being stuck with a bunch of small creatures that couldn't really stand up in combat. So I was thinking maybe this would be a bit stronger in that regard, even though there's a lot of blight and -1/-1 counters in general, so it could take some work to get these up to their full size. And kind of like I was saying before, being in the blue-white deck seemed very comfortable to me. I had prior experience with a lot of those cards. I knew the plan well and really felt like I knew I could execute it. Whereas with this deck, I don't really know it very well. I have not played a black-red deck in this format yet, so I wasn't as comfortable with the notion of having to manage all of these -1/-1 counters and what to do with them at what time. So even if this deck ended up being the better one, which I'm not even sure that it was, I was really taking the stance that prioritizing my own experience and knowledge of the other cards was going to be more beneficial for me in the long run. And I think it was. Let's quickly take a look at my draft deck, and then we can wrap up. Oh yeah, these were the RCQ promos. We really don't need to spend too much time going over the draft deck, cause yeah, I basically built the same thing that I played in Sealed. I really tried not to do that, but I really wanted to be cognizant that I wasn't overvaluing the blue and white cards, just because I had been playing them previously and was familiar with them. I was really trying to take the best cards in the pack objectively, but, I mean, if you're gonna pass me my bomb from earlier in the day, then I will be taking it. I do feel like this deck had some better components, but was overall worse than my Sealed deck. But let me lay it out here. For non-basic land, I just had a Hollowed Fountain. The non-creature spells, I think, look fairly similar, though maybe a little bit higher up on the curve. And then for creatures, these were the rares that I was working with. I really enjoyed all of these. I did find out when I was paired with my opponent for the semifinals. He had also drafted Merfolk, but it was kind of like he had the good uncommons, whereas I had the rares. He did win that match, but those were very grindy matches, I will say. But anyway, we can look at the rest of the creatures. Still not a ton of merfolk here. For a lot of pack 1, I was kind of directionless and probably passed some stuff that I would have liked to have if I was going to be merfolk, but this still did win the quarterfinal match, which I was happy with. Overall, I thought both decks were really fun to play, and can't wait to keep on playing some more Lorwyn Eclipsed Limited. I would love to do more drafts. Leading up to the RCQ, I was really playing sealed events only, trying to practice for the Swiss rounds, but kind of neglected practicing draft, which probably shows. But anyway, I think we'll call it there. And we'll let Sig be here for the outro. I would love to hear how Lorwyn Eclipsed has been going for you. Have you been playing any limited or any cards that you're trying out in Constructed or Commander? Let's hear it. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit that like button. And please consider subscribing if you haven't already. I put out new Magic the Gathering ASMR videos every Monday and Friday. I truly appreciate all of your support, and I hope you have a wonderful day.